Creation itself doesn't start at the beginning. It usually starts at the end. Let's talk about this. Starting at the end, where we're going to go today, you're welcome to leave after this slide, the fragmentation of time and space in about the next 30 years. Kind of scary when you think about it, but actually kind of fun. I'm not talking about just you, the whole planet. And it's going to be amazing how we get there. Second, we're in the process right now of creating a whole new species of kind of humans. Biological evolution has been extremely slow. It's all changing right now. And probably the most important point for today, that is why you're here. Allow your thinking, your wisdom, your nous to expand, because evolution doesn't just happen that way. It happens this way. And at the same time, it happens that way, and it happens that way. It's not linear. It's coming in every direction all at once. That is pandelusion rather than evolution. And in the core of all this is consciousness, is you. Evolution, Darwinian evolution, moves towards God. It's moving towards an understanding of how it was created, how it came to be. Whereas God, using the word God rather than theo, God actually moves into its creation. You have evolution trying to find the God. You have the God going into its creation, that it didn't have an agenda, didn't format. Say, let's get together. That's an amazing point of consciousness. You have trillions of times more computing power than just 40, 50 years ago. And in about another 3 to 4 years, you'll have trillions times more. It's growing like that. Well, this hockey stick actually, it started going up like that, but then it almost goes straight up. That curve will almost go straight up. And then literally that curve will come back on itself. That is the point of the break in time and space. And it's going to be within the next 30 years. TechGrin, what does that mean? Within modern technology, you have 4 basic categories that are influencing life right now. Genealogy, dealing with genes. The other one is robotics. The I is for intelligence, artificial intelligence, computers. And finally, the scariest of all, nanotechnology. If there is balance, if there is consciousness, the nanotechnology can make the new species an incredible, multidimensional creature that can literally traverse between the dimensions, between time and space. This nanotechnology will eventually enable the creator to meet itself, the creator, in the midst of the experience soup. In other words, the God that you are meeting the God you are right here, right now. Artificial general intelligence, we're a couple years away from it. The next thing that comes right after that is artificial superintelligence. That is when the machine, the computer, is no longer needing the human. The implications are tremendous, and that is why you are here. Because without consciousness, then this artificial superintelligence will basically take over the world. The robot and the human will integrate, but which one, biology or robotics, is going to dominate? It's not something that's going to happen later. It's not a projection in the future. It's happening right now. It's the very reason you came to this planet. Without consciousness, it's frightening. And that's why you're here. We are right now in the midst of a whole new species on this planet. It needed to happen. It had to happen. You've been existing in the same biological form. It doesn't change much. It takes thousands or millions of years to affect many changes in the body or the mind. While they're using artificial intelligence, we're bringing in the I am. And in parallel, not in competition too, but in parallel for balance. For balance. Technology is going to be a part of your life, but as long as there's consciousness, it's never going to eat you up. It will honor and serve you if there is consciousness. What we have here in this ProGnost is really much more than a ProGnost. And it's what I would call the call to consciousness. We're talking about really bringing consciousness to this planet, finally bringing the heavens and the earths together, finally bringing human and divine together. All of this with the theatrical surroundings of technology and robots and nanotechnologies and all the rest of that. But what we're really doing is finally fulfilling what I call the Atlantean dream. I wrote about how we did a mirab. I didn't call it that back then, but that took everything we've been doing for years now in a single mirab, brought it together and shifted consciousness. I wrote it like there was an aspect in you, a shadow, I called it back then, that was within you, that then walked out, that left. The shadow of doubt, the shadow, the ghost of the past, the shadow of human hypnosis, and that whole shadow of the true sadness of the Yeshua era that we had. Such a sadness. And the sadness, the shadow of the Atlantean times when we thought we failed. So I wrote about how after this gathering, after the mirab, the shadow just walked out. You didn't have to force it out. You didn't have to kick it out. There was no room for it anymore. Because as you allow consciousness, that ghostly old shadow, that thing that kept things vague and filled with doubt, just walked out.